Endurance is bliss. If someone blames us, even then take it as a favor. Ego is there in everyone in some form or the other. May all be happy. Let such be your feelings. Happiness will not come from disorder. There will be repentance later. Perhaps you may think he is a saint. He will say so. He is not practical after all. But I will only say that endure, there only is bliss. One day all this will go away. Quarreling over petty matters is not a good sign. It is harmful. We also should work shoulder to shoulder for the allotted time. Pay attention to mutual cooperation and help without looking into the faults of others. We shall become separate from each other if we go on finding faults of others. I don't consider this as right. Think in a spirit of liberality. Don't make the mind a rebel. A rebellious mind is not good. You will not gain anything except restlessness of the mind. Keep your mind within affection and discipline. Whether you enforce discipline or be disciplined, only then you can carry on. Bitterness, but with love, it is possible to win over man's heart. In endurance, a thought comes sometimes that are we not men? Is there no heart within us? But by enduring, only we get good results. Unattached actions, the birth, mental impressions, intelligence, etc. of every person is determined by the actions done in the previous lives. For a bit of happiness, we give up our ideals. Is it humanity? Then what is the difference between a man and a beast? Idealism itself is humanism. Without Almighty's grace, unattached work is not possible. Unattached work itself is moksha. Doing one's duty without desiring the fruits thereof is unattached work. Serving others with unselfish attitude or to help others is humanity. One should forget the help given to others. He who carries on his duties always is a human being. In the year 1960, how to be tolerant? Chandaben once asked Pujya Gurudev, "You had told earlier to bear an insult is not tolerance. Then, how to be tolerant? How and what is to be tolerated?" Pujya Gurudev replies, "Tolerance is to bear with something with understanding. Try to understand the cause of the situation, as to how much you are concerned about it and why. When the mind testifies that it is your mistake, then accept the remark as a favor with repentance. This is tolerance. If the situation is created without any reason, or if the allegation, the action, the behavior is shown without any fault on your part, being angry, ill will, hate, and sorrow should not be allowed to unbalance the mind. With a cool mind, find out what the truth is, and when the truth emerges clearly, if you give up the intention of any retaliation, then this is to be tolerant, even while not bearing with the insult. Sahan kare so sant hai, krodh kare so krur, Bana sant vandat jagat krurun ke sir dur. Meaning, he who endures is a saint. He who shows anger is cruel. The saint is worshipped by the whole world, but the cruel is condemned, says Banadas. When the mind is overwhelmed by attachment, it behaves intolerantly. When any action is done, whatever be its motive, the person in front thinks that it is done to oppose him, even if he is not at all concerned with it. This is the nature of the mind. How to tease the person one is attached to? The mind thinks and acts like that, finds pleasure in giving trouble to him. This is the nature of the mind. The New Year. The New Year sun has risen, taking with it the hopes and aspirations of innumerable human hearts. Matrudevo Bhava, then Pitrudeva Bhava, and then Acharya Devo Bhava. The scriptures have kept this order. In this way, the place of the mother is indicated as the highest, and her position should not be lowered on the plea of equality. So has been said by Saint Harit and also by Saint Parsara. Not only that, the Vedas, that is the holy scriptures, also mention about the greatness of a mother. Even Kaushalyaji goes to the extent of saying to Ram that if you go only by the order of your father, know that your duty to the mother who gave birth to you is greater. Sri Raghunathji, getting up early in the morning, pranams to his mother, father, and the Guru. From the boys of 10 to people of 80 years of age should take this lesson. It is good, but people are ashamed to salute to their parents. Why do they not feel ashamed to dance in the club? Understand, the death of a culture is death of the world. As the culture goes on deteriorating, man is proceeding towards destruction. Destructive thoughts only rise in the mind, and destruction is contemplated. You feel ashamed to salute to your parents, then you have authority to dance with your wives in public? Then shall we have early morning devotions regularly? If so, it may be said with authority that your day will be spent happily, getting up at dawn as soon as sleep is broken. Remember God. In the year 1961, Sadhana. The first and foremost sadhana in meditation is strong will and firm determination. In the subconscious mind, some very weak and thin desires are always there, which keep on dragging the mind towards action. Chitta, that is the mind, is momentary. How much momentary are the thoughts rising in it? One moment for one thought, and immediately followed by the next, and so on. Therefore, it has to be destroyed. While meditating, when the mind thinks of other outer objects, then observe the mind carefully and turn its direction. Fix it on meditation. When the mind is pure, that is, free from stray thoughts, no inspection is necessary. In Raj Yoga, Vivek, that is, basic intelligence, is an important factor. That is right. But one should inspect the mind before starting meditation. Otherwise, only Vivek will not help. But later on Patanjali says Ishwar Prani Dhanat, surrender to God is necessary. Yoga has four sections. 1. Raj, second Lay, third is Mantra, and fourth is Hat. In Raj Yoga also one has to do jap. Patanjali has said in the first sutra of Kaivalya Pad, Janmoshti, Mantra, Tapa, Samadhija, Siddhaya. Mantra Yoga is an easy method for the householder. It is a part of Raj Yoga. Jap of the mantra destroys the restlessness of the mind, and on long practice, meditation gets matured. It brings blissfulness, which is true and everlasting. Losing oneself in meditation, forgetting everything else, is itself the extreme limit of blissfulness. It is known as unswerving surrender. In this reverence, devotion and pure intelligence are of importance. The characteristics of a man of steady intelligence are described in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Ram is the only protector. Except him, there is no other Sarveshwar. These jeev are for the God, not for the Prakriti. This is the meaning of the mantra. Do jap of the mantra as much as you can. Whenever possible, while walking or strolling, repeat the mantra mentally with attention to the meaning of the mantra. In times of anxiety, fear, or any time, think of the meaning of the mantra is of great benefit. As soon as you think of the meaning, the beach comes to the mind. From Nam, the form also appears surely. For those who have a very restless mind, this is the first sadhana. Later on, you must meditate in the trikuti, that is between the eyebrows. After some days, you see the divine light, which will become brighter than the sun, and gradually it will appear to be spreading upwards far and wide. Do not overstrain your eyes. If you feel hot, take ice cold condensed milk with rice and massage with almond oil. If the body heat increases in sadhana, the brain will be weakened. You should take a lot of milk and fruits. The dream becomes real in the waking state. In the waking state, you get a hint of divinity. The bliss you feel momentarily will be felt always by the influence of spiritual practice. It is so unique, it never fails. It has a purpose hidden there. There should be so much firmness in the sadhana that thinking of God continues day and night. Pravritti and Nivritti, January 1961. Those people who live in a solitary place, who, during worship or meditation, remain in solitude in a tranquil atmosphere, they cut off the bondage of sansar, and who are free from pleasure and pain, make their lives God-centered. There are two paths. One, pravritti, that is the path of worldliness, and nivritti, that is the path of dispassion. Those who are on the path of pravritti should go to solitude places at the time of worship. Those who follow the path of nivritti They should always live in a lonely or a solitary place. The result of the two paths is similar. The easy way of practicing brahmacharya, that is continence, is to keep in mind always that God is present everywhere. Trust comes through love. Reverence is blind, and faith has eyes. Whatever God does is for my good only, is faith. I have God to depend upon, then why should I care? This attitude is Shraddha or reverence. For example, I have said that I will surely come on the 5th. The word surely gives rise to the intuition or trust. Have never failed after saying surely. This is the experience. Similarly, the scriptures, the words of the Guru, denote belief, reverence, and faith. Sources of knowledge are pratyaksh or through the sense organs. Second is anuman or inference. And third is through agama or through scriptures and words of the sages. Pratyaksh may be false also. What you see is pratyaksh, is it not? But in 12 years, would you not be changed? Stars are not visible in the day. Then are there no stars? They are not pratyaksh. But we have anuman or inference that they must be there. Similarly, knowers of the scriptures have seen God. But since we do not see, we cannot say God is not there. Life is momentary. Remember God. Sense enjoyment is not the aim of life. Do not forget that. Know self. Do not make your opinions from outside appearances only. The aim of life is to know the self. But who would accomplish God's grace in future remains to be seen. There is power only in God's grace. Without grace, nothing is possible. He is realized by grace, not by sadhana alone. Even if the mind does not like to pray, follow your routine regularly. Without singing the glories of Sitaram, there will be no peace. To get peace of the self is not an ordinary thing. You have to transform your heart completely. Our attitude should be that whatever we are doing is for God only. We should always keep in mind that the life is momentary. Tomorrow will be there, but whether we shall be there tomorrow is not certain. June 1962 at Mount Abu. Guru Mahima. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurube Namaha. It means, Pujya Gurudev creates the best qualities in the disciple. Therefore, he is Brahma. He destroys the bad qualities of the disciple, and therefore he is Rudra. He nurtures the good qualities in the disciple, gives them nourishment, and therefore he is Vishnu. And the Guru, who can do all these three taken together, he is therefore the Supreme Almighty Himself. The world is like skimmed milk. There is no cream at all. The imperishable Almighty is permeated in the perishable universe like cream in the milk. Due to churning by the devotee, God is separated like cream. We should have the urge to know Him. Immediately after getting up every day, one should introspect and offer all actions, good or bad, to God. Giving up the false and keeping the good qualities is known as Vivek. God certainly gives inspiration, but do not cover it up by indiscreet mind and inferior actions. There will be no salvation without surrender. Surrender yourself to God and do jap. Giving up hope of the world, one should look towards God with hope. This is known as perfect surrender. Only one trust, one source of strength, one hope and faith, and that is God. Test yourself on the touchstone of reason and make your decision. Then do not give up that decision at any cost. On going to the saintly person, one gets spiritual knowledge from ordinary talks. The minutest grains of their talks are full of teachings. Knowing the methods of meditation, thoroughly one should meditate for some time. Meditate in the heart. At the Trikuti, one gets quick success in bringing the divine light. Meditation of the Easter is done in the heart. In Trikuti, the Bij, that is Ram or Om, is meditated. By repeating the holy name, one can meditate effortlessly. The implanting of the spiritual power by the Guru is for giving the disciple a steady faith that God exists. Then it is the disciple's duty to make self-effort. Introspection and destroying desires. Subtle desires of the mind draw it towards sense enjoyments. Man's inner organ, that is the antakaran, is full of desires. Along with each desire, there is a wish for its gratification. And for that wish, there is sankalpa or a resolution for its fulfillment. As the desires are of different forms, the direction of the resolutions for their fulfillment is also varied. Therefore, the human mind is drawn towards many directions. Some desires are so subtle that we are not able to know them. Those who, by introspection, are able to know them, they try to uproot them. For the success of every action, whether worldly or spiritual, concentration is very necessary. Without concentration, no work can be done well. When the mind is drawn by desires, knowing them to be perishable, the worldly enjoyments are momentary. The sense objects are not real but illusory. Only this understanding breaks them to pieces. If we do not have these 5 things, sound, touch, form, taste, smell, near us, then the state of the mind cannot be anything but it vanishes. In the world, to have knowledge of God is the only real knowing, and nothing else is worth to be known. One should contemplate the following. What am I? What is this world? What is Maya? What is the way of release from this? And what is the result of release from this? The person who knows the world in its real form, he is a man of knowledge. Abhay, that is fearlessness. 1962 at Rajkot. In the Devi Sampatis described by Bhagwan Shri Krishna, the quality of Abhay is mentioned at the very beginning. In acquiring the divine qualities, Abhaya is very helpful. With fear in the mind, divine qualities can never be acquired. A man in fear can do nothing. A freedom from all kinds of fear is known as Abhaya. How can we become Abhaya? To be fearless, we need a protector. We get a clear evidence of this when we see how fearless a boy is when he is with his mother. He knows that I have my protector with me. He therefore becomes free from anxiety. Who could be our protector? Of what sort? A chance protector or an eternal protector? Mother, father, friend, brother, they are all our protectors by chance or conjunction. They are subject to death. Sometimes these protectors could even turn into destroyers. Then whose very nature is it to protect? The one who has taken a vow, who is eternally related, and who is capable to protect. All these three are in God. Even before our birth, now and after death, He protects us. He says, I will make you fearless. He who comes to my refuge, it is my vow to make him fearless. How could we make God our protector? We have not seen God. We have heard of Him through scriptures. If we surrender to Him, we get a protector automatically. He is extremely gracious. He forgives, though He has the power to punish too. Why punishment is given? So that the mistake is not repeated again. When a man surrenders or remembers God, his heart is purified spontaneously. Parvati Khimji ka Jai Siya Ram.